The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast.
You know, this is a track that I have, I don't want to say a love-hate relationship with, but I have some sort of a relationship with Phoenix that I can't explain to you all just right here on stream, off way. It's a very odd-shaped track. It's a very odd-shaped run. It's frustrating to a degree with the way the pavement is, but nevertheless, Phoenix is a track that NASCAR knows, loves, hates, depending on your opinion of the lack of grass everywhere stance. You're going to either love this track or you're going to hate this track. But I think for Sim500, it's going to produce some really, really good racing. I want to welcome everybody in here to the Sim500 Cup. This is race number 4 on the night, on the season, the long season setup. But hey, we're only 4 races in, still plenty of time to look at this. Of course, we are here at Phoenix, as I said, a track that, well, yeah, we're just going to kind of leave it at that, guys. And that's how we're going to go with that. It's going to be myself, Brad Dalton, up here in the production truck. And as always, for Sim500, we've got Andre joining me. We've got Kevin joining me. Andre, good evening, friend. First with you, what's your opinion of Phoenix?
You know, I kind of feel similar to you. It's a little bit love-hate. I personally, at the risk of being called an old fuddy-duddy, I liked it when there was grass. Not a huge fan of the dogleg. I think it kind of encourages drivers to make some bonehead moves at the potential gain of a few tenths of a second. But either way, it is still an exciting track. And to make it even better, we're under the lights tonight. So that'll be a little bit of fun.
Kevin, what's your opinion here? What's the history with Sim500 being around here in Phoenix? And what are we expecting from this 1 mile oval with an open dog leg?
This racetrack has a mix in the context that sometimes it's fuel mileage, sometimes it's a crash fest, sometimes it's 3 wide, and everything in between. You just, like, you don't know what you're going to get in that context. You don't know how this is going to pair out tonight. Like you guys, I don't particularly like this track. There's certain parts of it that I really like the way it drives. I think they should make them stay on the racetrack, but fact of the matter is, diving off the racetrack, going down to the apron is the way the world is to stay in. We're going to find trouble spots. It's not easy in the sim to drop off and hit that apron and keep the car straight. You have to know exactly where to go off and how to go back onto the racetrack, let alone squeezing cars to your outside. So I'm 50-50. I'm right with you guys on this racetrack. I just never have made friends with it.
You know, I think 50-50 might be the best way to go. I know why they did it, right? Like, we understand why they did it, but it doesn't mean I like it. But it does look good. I will give it that. It doesn't look horrible. I am a big proponent of, if it's a racing surface, you race on it. If it's not, stay off of it. I don't know. Again, maybe that's the Andre, how'd you say that? I don't even know how you said that, Andre. The old man, the uddy-fuddy, the something like that.
Uddy-duddy.
Yeah, there it is. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It's 130 laps tonight around here, which I think is going to be a lot of fun. Only 3 sets of tires, so I don't think tires are going to be a big issue tonight as it goes. I'm kind of curious to see, all in all, where the main strategy is going to land. And of course, if you're looking on your screen right now at about that top right line, that is the start finish line. It's in a weird position compared to where you would think it should be. here at Phoenix. Andre, I don't even know if that really adds anything weird. I think the most it does is just the pace car pulls off of one, and you kind of just you do 3/4 of a lap under no pace car at pace speed.
Well, I think the real life pace car driver might have something to say about that after last year. This was the track where the pace car forgot where he was on the track and hit the sand barrel. So luckily on iRacing, the pace car is automated and it has no collision. So we're not at risk of that happening tonight. But we don't want to rip on the track too much. I will say there is one positive. I genuinely think the start-finish line being where it is was actually a good change. I'm not a big fan of removing the grass from the dogleg, but I think what is now turns 3 and 4 puts on better finishes, and it's kind of a corner that has more of an opportunity to send it in deep and drive it in hard, which gives the drivers a chance to make a late lap move for the lead, and then they got the line right before the dogleg. I think that's kind of a nice decision. The backstretch to me always kind of felt like a backstretch, even when the start finish line was back there. So not a bad decision there. But the in sim time has changed for the warm up. The race will start round about sunset. We will race into the night. Speaking of that information, thank you, Brad. 74 on the pavement, 72 in the air. That is pretty cool for Phoenix, Arizona. Virtual time at 6:15. Sunset imminent. Humidity 34.7, a little bit of wind, but absolutely zero track moisture. Could you imagine that, Brad? No track moisture here in Phoenix?
It's almost like we're racing in the desert, like almost. I think what would be more fun is if we got some rain here around Phoenix. But Kevin, I don't think the drivers would like some rain. But hey, we could slap on some wet tires to these cars, right? It'd work.
I don't think they'd like that at all. One of the things about this racetrack, I did run it this week, is you're never comfortable. Very similar to running Richmond. When you dive into turn one, you're just trying to find that sweet spot where you slide through the corner and the car picks up lateral grip, and then you can drive off with speed to the backstretch. And you're constantly pushing the envelope here, and I don't feel like you're ever comfortable. And then if you overdrive, you're in close quarters with somebody else, you have just too many things to process. It's really easy to slip up and slap the wall. Now, I love pit road on this racetrack, but if you go in to get some damage fixed, per se, you don't have a lot of time on pit road the way this track races. So drivers really have to think about the full package of running this racetrack and what do they want out of the night. Do they want to get to the finish? Do they want to contest for the win? Do they just need to keep the fenders on the thing? It's a tricky place to race.
Going to be interesting, I think. Go ahead, Andre. Go ahead.
I was just going to say it is a very tricky track, and there is one way in which the sim is actually giving these guys a little bit of grace that real life does not give, and that is going to be the actual pit road speed limit. In real life, this pit road is just like it is in the sim. It's very curved towards the end of it. But because of the way they calculate pit road speed, which is your time from scoring line to scoring line, you could be going the speed limit, but if you take the inside apex of the pit road, it might clock you as speeding, and you have to serve that penalty whether or not you were actually going above the speed. But here on iRacing, we only use the actual speed of the car, so you don't have to worry about getting caught off guard with a penalty.
Really lucky, too, if you think about it, the fact that you can not speed and not be clocked for speeding in iRacing, which is a problem that exists in the real world. It's weird to kind of say that. It's kind of nice, though. And I like this little bit of a warm-up session here, guys, as it goes through, because I think this really gives the drivers time to sort of just calibrate with driving on track. Of course, we're going to have upwards of 40 cars on track here for the race tonight. We'll see what happens, how quick everyone kind of gets accustomed to racing with each other here. But kind of looking through the field, it seems like everyone, at least through practice and the little bit that I watched of practice getting ready before, everyone seems comfortable here. And they don't seem too comfortable, though. I will say that, Kevin, you have a point. You don't get comfortable here, but it seems like everyone's relaxed. That's the better word. Relaxed is the better way to phrase that.
That is until they go into turn 1, 3 abreast going in there for the first time. We talked about bowling last week at Coda. I think you see a similar dynamic here. And yeah, then the race will leg itself out. If we get 8-10 laps in a row, it becomes conveyor belt racing, and then you race the cars in front of you and out the back mirror. But yeah, it's one of those things in this racetrack where you have to take care of your equipment too. You can certainly overdrive the corners, you can heat them up, you can spin the tires, and this racetrack will, I think, lend itself, I'm going to make a guess, to a couple long runs, and then you typically have a caution late, and it's just pandemonium trying to see what you can get at the last run.
And another thing about this track that I always keep in mind is that turn 1. You talked about barreling down into it on the restart. Turn 1 is very wide and it is very paved. That yellow line, much like the dog leg, is nothing more than a suggestion. In real life, I believe it was Kyle Larson a couple years ago who, for a large majority of the race, just decided, you know what, I'm going to get as close to that inside wall as I can. And it was actually pretty quick doing it. Now, on iRacing, I don't think that's going to be the fast line. There's not a lot of grip down there. But going back to what Kevin said, when you go into that corner 5 wide on a restart, you might not have a choice. But eventually, you do have to merge back up onto the pavement, and that's where you have an issue. We do have the starting grid after qualifying. It is Justin Fuller in that 51 rolling off P1. Mark Jorgensen going to be P2 in that 88. Row 2 going to be made up of David Schildhaus in the 20. Had some misfortune last week at Coda. See if he can rebound here in the desert. Brian Macklin going to be P4. 5th place goes to Cody Harris. And Wesley Donaldson is going to be P6. 7th place goes to Chad Coleman. And if you look over to his outside, 8th place, Tyler Dalton. Rounding out the top 10, going to be Jose Gonzalez and Jeff Hollingsworth. I'll hand it to you, Brad, for outside top 10.
And then looking at that, P11, Nelson Rivera and Robert Friery, the third in 12th place. I love that number 2. I love that paint scheme. Such a good setup. Anthony Calantoni in P13, and then Anthony Savignano in P14. The Anthonys taking out 13th and 14th. Thomas George in the Valvoline Ford in P15, and Brentley Glasser in the Mountain Dew in P16. 17th, Kevin Brown, Richard Beasley in the Tide Car number 18, Joey Gattina, the Boss Man in P19, and then Mike Montesi in P20. Kevin, take us through the next 10 here.
Yeah, 21st is Kevin Stone in the 17 to his outside. Charles Woods, he's 22nd. The next row, 23rd, Eric Arnold to his side is the 43 of Doug Roth. Row 13, Randy Yoakum, Jason Pick on the outside. Yoakum in the 8, Pick in the 53. Bobby Wetzel, Charles Van Schaik make out row 14, 27th and 28th. 29th starting spot tonight for David Comstock and EJ O'Rourke in 30th. 31st, Jason Karlovaz, then it's Joe Hudson, Stephen Miles, Josh Parker, Patrick Colby, Braden Whitaker, John Fowler going to start 36. 37th, Doug Sigmund, DeAndre Kane, Brian Wertman, and Scott Gunn on the field. You have
Whoa.
There you go.
What is this race start, guys? What is this?
That is Phoenix. That is exactly what you expect. We were 5 wide for a moment. Everybody found their place on the track so far. I'm not seeing any tire smoke from up in the booth. David Schildhaus up 1 from where he started. But look at this. Mark Jorgensen wants that second place back. He darts out of line down to that entrance of turn 1, which is going to be a part of the track we need to keep an eye on, guys. That entrance to turn 1. If you drive it in there too deep and you go too low, it's not uncommon to smack your driver's side door on that wall. And we do have a yellow flag.
That'd be for
further
the
back in the
Thomas
field.
George around.
I thought I saw him in the background get a little bit of a shoulder check there. Let's grab a real quick replay and check out what happened to him here, because I'm pretty sure he had some help with that one. Let's see here.
It would seem that even the Mark Martin curse extends to
the apron the wrong way.
I know you didn't just call the Mark Martin curse out. Hold on now. All right, let's get this replay here. So we're running. He's down low.
there was contact in front too. I think he swerved just a little bit because he saw them making contact. He thought they were going to check up. And like Kevin called it, he got on that transition from the banking to the flat and just a little bit too abrupt, and it spun him around.
Let's get one more little bit of an angle there. It looks like it's the 22 and the 97 in front that first make contact there on the exit.
What's important to watch is where he goes off the racetrack. Just past the start-finish line right there is the most abrupt angle, and it really unsettles the car. There's no way to turn it back to the right, and it's extremely likely that you're going to hit that inside wall the way he did, and he's probably got about 4 to 5 minutes worth of damage, and it'll take him 6 or 8 times on pit road to get that car sorted out if he can get the damage fixed.
Already coming into pit road early. A few drivers are here. Charles Van Schaik, Brian Wortman, Joe Hudson, Thomas George, Doug Sigmund, all into the pits here. I don't see anybody with big moves early on. Doug Sigmund, though, down 23 places already. So that's the big, the big loss here of the night, I'd say. So far, few people have made up some places. Nothing too crazy. Our two-time race winner, where's he floating at in the field currently? Where has Schildhaus found himself?
He's running second.
So I wonder if he can make it a 3 for 4 here. We'll see what he can do.
It could definitely be.
Justin Fuller leading this event. Last fall, when we went into the championship race, he was given chase to Josh Parker, went down in on the final lap, sent it, got down to the back bumper, just meant to tap him, and he ended up turning him around and in a gentlemanly fashion, pulled up, yielded the race, and Bentley Glazer went on to win with Doy Woods, taking his second of the year. He finished second in the spring, and second, he's not in here tonight, I don't believe, but Doy Woods always runs good here, so we'll see if Justin Fuller could be there, and it'll be interesting if Josh Parker can come up and they can repeat that battle and have a clean race.
And it's so hard to tell who's got the pace. We only got a few laps of green flag racing, and it seemed like Jorgensen was pretty keen on getting that second place back from Schildhaus. Just ran out of time before that yellow. I'm also going to be keeping an eye on that 19 car. Again, he's run so well at the start of these races, every race this year. He's just got to put a whole event together. And off the start, out of turn 4, green flag is in the air. We're going to dive down onto the dog leg. Everybody clean and green as we navigate down into turn 1, but they are 4 and 5 wide behind. Justin Fuller, no wheel spin out of that 51. He's able to get that thing navigated through that turn. And look at this, for second place, I said before the yellow, Jorgensen wanted that second place back. He was getting aggressive for it, and he is doing the same here. And on the outside, Cody Harris had a really good run through 3 and 4, but in 1 and 2, that outside does not seem to stick quite as well. He's going to give up a little bit of time there, single filed out for the top 4. And I believe that is the 38 of Coleman on the inside. First car 2 wide. But again, challenging for second place through 1 and 2. That 88 is definitely throwing some Hail Marys.
Someone's got to. Let's be honest, somebody's got to, and I think Jorgensen is in a good spot to do it if someone's going to do it. But the 95, Cody Harris, won last week at COTA, looking to make a move. That's the 38 of Chad Coleman, dropping off the racing surface, as we call it there. Here up in the front, everyone holding on. Kevin, everybody seems pretty polite, but I will say if we look at the weather right now, I'm going to pull this up really quick. 75-degree track, 72-degree air, 6:32 p.m. in sim time. So as we go, I'd say that the car is going to really come to people. I know Schildhaus told me that the right rear is the problem tire for these cars as we go through the run.
Yeah, there's been times with these that the left rear has been the one doing all the work, but as you run this racetrack, you're in the corner so much and you're laying over on that right rear. And I think as the nighttime sets in, it'll get cooler. Grip will come back. It's not like running the middle of the day, which is where the Cup Series ran yesterday. So from that perspective, they have a little easier. What I'm curious to see is, will anybody be dropping down on that apron? They're going to cut the track just a little past start-finish line, but I don't suspect that once things settle in that they'll be going down for no man's land here. And let's listen to the cars going down. Who's shifting? They typically would run around here in fourth. Sometimes if you get such a good run from the start finish line off, you can hop up to fifth, and then you'll drop it down in fourth. And of course, Andre, they're using brake bias to get the car to turn in. Everybody has their secret formula of how they set their steering and brake bias for this racetrack.
And that's another reason that this track is going to be so evil on those right rears, because when they change that brake bias, what they're doing is they're trying to get that rear end to swing out. Well, when you're doing that, you are abusing the tires, and it's going to wear them out pretty quick. So I would imagine their bias is pretty heavy, probably anywhere between 70 to 80%, because they do want this car to rotate. They want to get it through the corner. And as we ride on board with Shieldhouse, he's going to be at fourth gear through 1 and 2. Down the back straightaway, gets a pretty good run, 87, 89, 9,000 revs, keeps it in fourth gear. Now through turns 1 and 2, let's see if he at any point gets up to fifth gear. I don't think we're going to see that. I think that fourth gear, the rotation that you get from it, the revs that you get from it, that is what he wants. Capping out about 9,100 revs, but yellow flag is in the air for the second time tonight here at Phoenix, lap 13. Let's go ahead and take a look at a PTR TV replay as the 91 is involved.
Grab this.
Looks like he might have backed it into the wall.
Oh,
like no, Friary.
Or he was battling with the 88, actually. So we're going to go back a little bit further to see where this started. So this is him battling out with the 88 of Mark Jorgensen. This is to the inside, little loose, little bit of contact there as they come through. He slides, he catches it, and then watch the two there, Friary, as they come around. And then Friary, I don't think that was just a contact on his own. Oh
no!
I did not see.
Blazer upside down, pirouetting there the winner last time we were here at Phoenix went for a wild ride.
We're gonna hop on board with Brentley Glazer here, see what he saw coming through there, because I don't know that. Well,
he's got a broken toe link. The car is really yawed out as he tried to go to pit road. He just crashed into the wall trying to keep control of the car.
Let's see here. So we're on board with him. You see he wiggles, he catches it, gets back going, and then boom.
Yeah, just one of those situations, not really anywhere to go. The number 2 did a bit of a snap overcorrect when he saw that incident happening. And that's what kicked all of that off. And just an unfortunate wrong place, wrong time situation for the previous race winner here at Phoenix. He's going to have probably terminal damage. I don't imagine we're going to see that car back out on track, but you never know, as we are once again pacing. And it's interesting. This track has a tendency to sometimes be extremely boring, but I've noticed a trend. Every Phoenix race that I've watched, either in sim or in real life, has had some pretty crazy happenings this year, and I guess the trend is continuing.
See, and that's where Phoenix kind of gets me in the love-hate relationship side, because you have some exciting moments, some exciting races, but it's just all paved out compared to, I don't know. I'm getting on a soapbox of one that, what is it, Andre, that Corey loves to say it's a podcast topic, of which this is not one. So yeah, we'll save that one for a potential PTR TV podcast coming soon. TM, blah, 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 blah. We're 1 to green here. I forget that this track is just over a mile. So it kind of treats it on those, mile rules. You don't get near as many pace laps. You don't get near as many run. I mean, it kind of caught me off guard on the race start. We only got 1 pace lap, but we're through 2. The pace car is in. And now for Justin Fuller, he's got control of the field for 3/4 of the time, and when he decides to go, well, that's when things get fun. That's when things will get interesting. So we'll watch and see how things pull through. He's going to bring it around. Watch for that Geico restart zone on the inside, because that's when Justin Fuller will send it on along and bring it around town. And there it is. And I think he caught Shieldhouse a little bit off guard there, because Cody Harris looks like he might have a run here, but into 1. Here we go. 3, 4, 5 wide. Just fan out and now squeeze it all back in. And let's send it 3 wide here through turn 1.
Yeah, it's pretty common that the drivers drop off the apron for the restart, because it is the shortest path to get to Route 1, I'll call it, We have Route 1 through Princeton, which drives just like this racetrack. They're side by side, still there for second. Haven't settled that down. Harris knows he's got to take advantage of the position he has. He's going to go the short route, try to get underneath Schildhouse, see if he can clear him into turn number 1. He's got a nose ahead. It is Schildhouse winding it to the outside. They're literally door to door on the exit of the corner here, but it's going to go to Schildhouse as the yellow is out. Schildhouse was ahead.
And yellow out again. Let's see if we can get an idea of what that's for. I believe that is going to be that number 9 of Bobby Wetzel. Let's see here real quick what that was for. And get us a real quick replay pulled up here. It looks like involved with the 94 coming through. Let's see what happened here on this replay. So he's a little bit loose there, and right as the camera cut on me, and get a better angle of that. So the 94 bumped off the 98, came up into the 9, and then the 4, I think, was just kind of collateral damage there.
Yeah, that was just a bit of a case of high-speed ping pong. He bounced off the car beneath and right up into that outside wall and into that number 9. And that is something that is going to happen. I mean, with this track being the way that it is, obviously you're going to get 2 and 3 wide. But with this track not having a whole lot of banking, once the car starts to snap around, it really snaps around. There's not much you can do to stop it or catch it, especially with this next gen. That is an issue and has been an issue with this next gen ever since it was released. It's really difficult not to snap oversteer because once that diffuser loses the air that it's really putting down, the ground force that it's putting down, you're basically floating on top of the track at that point.
Got to give a good hands to Charles Van Schaik. He came upon the scene, didn't panic. He could have plowed right through that. He locked the car down just enough to wait till the trouble's cleared. One of the problems, Andre, that you have when you go in there is that everybody's carrying so much momentum and you're in a curve. Car wants to go straight. So if they're crashed on the outside wall, you're almost destined to join them. But somehow Charles got it woed up, wait till everything cleared, and snuck by with no damage.
3 cautions as we go through. No lead changes. I think that's the one thing that's kind of also catching me off guard a little bit. No lead changes yet here on the night. It's been the Justin Fuller powerhouse. Of course, Schildhouse, Harris, previous race winners here through this season. They're going to be looking to do something here. We'll see what they can do. But Justin Fuller has just been dominant on the restarts, on the runs. Andre, what's it going to take to knock Justin Fuller out?
Well, they're going to have to stay green, because if they keep doing this, he's going to get free laps led. That's basically what it boils down to. I think the top 4 or 5 are all very close in pace, and I think that 19's got good pace too. He's snuck up a few positions as well. The problem is that we're not getting runs long enough in order to really see it play out, to see who's using up their tires, to see who's got the long run speed. And this is a track where it might take a lap or two, just like we saw Cody Harris making the move for 3rd place earlier in the night. It takes a lap or two to set up a move. You got to set them up, knock them down. You might not always get it done in one corner. So when we keep going under yellow, the race is going to be very stagnant. So we'll see what happens as we fan out for the restart, 4 wide behind our leaders. That is going to be very congested. The 93, nowhere to go. Cars in front, behind, left, and right. He is the meat in the sandwich. Not a comfortable situation to be in, and caution flies again. The 4th yellow of the night here on lap 22. 04 seems to maybe be involved. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe not.
Trying to find where it started here. Let's take 1 second here, see if we can't find where it came through. It looks like Jorgensen potentially. This is what's triggering it for me, but I'm not seeing anything else going through, so I'm not sure. We'll do a little bit of a investigative journalism here and see if we can't find where that went. So that's right when the
2-car contact between the 23 and the 49 out in the back. They just had different braking points, and the Joe Hudson car tagged Charles Van Schaik, got him sideways. I think because he was out yawed sideways, that's where the caution is right here.
Yep. So that's iRacing just throwing one immediately because somebody is 90 degrees off. So, and when you're 90 degrees off on the racing surface, iRacing doesn't like that, and they'll be very quick to throw a caution in. So that is going to be our next caution on the night. And I know the guys probably don't like this unless your name's Justin Fuller. So I say a lot of these drivers are ready to get this race going and through, but you know, for Justin Fuller, this is just music to his ears, because if we were looking 90 laps on a green fuel run, you know, we're 130 laps on the night. This is going to put him in a really good spot.
Yeah, it's definitely going to play to his benefit if we keep having these incidents. And the issue here, especially, is that these incidents seem to all be one-car incidents, sometimes 2 or 3, but a lot of these drivers involved, say for a few, they're still on the track, they're not getting terminal damage, so the field is still very sizable. The likelihood for chaos and carnage is just as high as it ever was, and we have not calmed down. I think every restart just makes these guys a little bit more anxious. They're getting frustrated behind the wheel. Not a good thing. You talked about being relaxed and how it kind of goes against Kevin's point of you never really get comfortable here. Well, it's even harder to get comfortable when you can't get in a rhythm. You know, this is a rhythm track. It's a track that you really got to get in a groove to start clicking off your laps. And mentally, these yellow flags take you out of the game. It's like every restart, you're starting from scratch. You're not comfortable behind the wheel. Not a good situation.
Going to be a hard time for these drivers as we go through. We are officially on the 1 to green here. Pace car pulls off, but Kevin, we still got 3/4 of a lap to go.
Yeah, remember, this is early in the season, still drivers learning other drivers. You have different braking points on a short track. This race is like a short track. You're on top of each other. It's not uncommon for us to see some caution fever in the beginning, and then they're going to spread it out. And once they hit it, I think we're going to have a long green flag moment.
Question is, when does that get hit here? Geico restart zone comes through. We're on top of the cactus here, and we're green flag running. Let's see how the drivers handle this race restart. And look at that again. We're going to be fanning out 3 wide, 4 wide, 5 wide, and come through. Now you feed it into 1 together, and everybody brings it back up. That 19 up on the high line of Tyler Dalton is going to be looking for something somewhere to make a move, trying to make a pass there on the 30 of Brian Macklin. Is going to get the pass done and get the run through. Now hold on. Up in front, Justin Fuller's second verse, same as the first, will tick another lap off in the lead as we run through. And again, look at these guys just fan out through the dogleg into turn 1. Andre, I'll never get used to that.
No, it's a far cry from what Phoenix used to be. It gives them so much room to play, and obviously opens up the door to either gain a lot or lose a lot, depending on how things shake out. And so far, a lot of drivers have been on the losing end of it. Is the 19 on the high line, which, oh boy, really sideways there. And I'll tell the viewers at home what exactly is happening. Kevin mentioned if you try to get on the dogleg too early, the car is going to get sideways. That is very true. Reason being, when you come out of turns 1 and 2, that is the more banked of the corners. You're really cranking on that steering wheel, and more importantly, the momentum that you are carrying is shifting the weight of the car. You're putting all that weight on one side, so when you hit that transition, the car is incredibly unstable. You want to let the car straighten out, unpinch the geometry of that car, then get down on the dogleg. Otherwise, you're going to have a bad time, and that was a near save that he had when he got loose there, but Brad, that could have been a lot worse.
It definitely could have here. We're right on board with Tyler Dalton, and you know, we had that question of our drivers shifting 4th, 5th. I mean, look at this. We're running 9,000 RPM on board with Tyler Dalton. He's just holding 4th gear through and through. No downshifts, no upshifts, just keeping it smooth. And kind of interesting to see that that's the decision run. And this time, too, you see through the dogleg didn't drop near as low as he had before. So, Kevin, seems like 4th gear might be the way to go for some of these guys.
Yeah, 4th has the right power band for you to get up off the corner. You're in the right torque area. And the only one I think we have to, as we go to yellow here, pretty big incident over there in turn number 2, 53, the 23, the 41 involved again as we go under caution for the 5th time here tonight. We'll come back to that.
And let's see what caused this. I see 53, the 23, a few different cars and a few different places. I do think it started with the 53, though, of Jason Pick, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see if we can find a real good angle of this one here, of what happened, and we'll go through. So this is watching the 53. So in 53, it happened ahead with the 41, and then the 8 into the 53, Van Schaik into the wall.
What on earth was that?
It looks like EJ just got loose and slid around on his own going into the corner.
Yeah, let's get a better angle of that one. Let's go from the blimp cam here, sponsored by who wants to sponsor a blimp cam? Let's see.
Tropicana Pure Premium Pack. Fresh squeeze, never from concentrate. Tropicana.
There we go. That's the 41 there. That's EJ O'Rourke, and yeah, just lost it. Andre, I think you said it earlier. Once you lose it, it's very hard to get these cars back, and unfortunately, Van Schaik, the 53, they were all just kind of victims in the mix.
Yeah, like I said, the rear diffuser is the culprit there. Once the air does not flow through that in the way that it should, once that car gets sideways, it's kind of like an Indy car. It's just going to go around, and there's not a lot you can do. Now, sometimes at a track like Charlotte, Texas, whatever, you've got enough banking that you can kind of naturally let the car straighten itself out. The momentum of the car, the G-forces will do that. Not going to happen at a flat track like New Hampshire, Phoenix, any of these other circuits that have minimal banking. And that did happen in 3 and 4, which is the less banked of the corners. I'll tell you what, he gave it his all. I mean, he fought that thing tooth and nail. He just about brought it back around, but when this next-gen car wants to spin, it wants to spin.
You have to wonder if it had something to do with that right rear tire on the seam. It was right on the seam through the latter part of the spin there.
That seam can be dangerous too. That is one of those things that seam can really, really catch you off guard if you're not careful here. But we're 1 to green. Pace car is going to pull in. It's still the Justin Fuller show. David Schildhouse, Cody Harris, Chad Coleman, Mark Jorgensen, they've all tried to take it on here, but nobody's knocking out Justin Fuller on a nice, wonderful Monday night in Phoenix as we go. Also, do want to point out the top 17 still have not pit. They have stayed out this whole 33 stint. Don't know why they would pit, though, because they haven't had too much run on the tires at this point. I believe our longest green flag run has been about less than 10 laps. Little bit of a checkup in the mid-pack. We're green here. Justin Fuller with a good takeoff, but again, that restart, as always, here from the blimp cam. It's that mid-pack that I really want to watch how they get through, get going, and get together. And it looks like everybody making it through nice and pretty, guys. We're going to hold 2 wide for a majority of the field. Little bit of argy-bargy in the background. I see that Tide car getting a little bit loose of Richard Beasley, but once they get this flow, it seems like we'll be in a good spot. Cody Harris ahead of Schildhouse here, and Andre, we made it through another green flag lap, still looking 2 wide through, and look at that 26 diving hard down low.
Yeah, I mean, he's in a position right now where if he wants to gain anything, he's got to dive down low. It's going to become less viable as the tires wear. I think cutting down that dog leg is going to get more and more difficult. But right now, like you said, we're on lap 35, but we have about 3.6 laps of green flag racing, so realistically these tires are still fresh, still feeling good, and no need to worry about it.
One slow on the backstretch, the 17 of Kevin Stone got around coming up off of turn 2, nosed it into the wall. He's able to drive away in the Rain X Ford. I'm not sure if he doesn't have a broken toe link the way the car's driving down the track, but he continues on and we stay green here at Phoenix.
Still watching this 26 up here of Jose Gonzalez battling it out with that number 99. Anthony Savignano running a Red Bull paint scheme here today, which is always a controversial decision. If you run any sort of road courses, you see a Red Bull driver, you stay far away. Says me, who's currently wearing a Red Bull t-shirt. So that's a conversation that, well, it'd be interesting to have, and you can say your opinions one way or the other. Looking up front, Justin Fuller has pulled out about a quarter of a second gap up on Cody Harris, David Schildhouse right on the rear. So these top 3 pretty well just keeping things moving together. They've found the groove. They found the rhythm. They may not be comfortable, but it looks like they're keeping it together for the moment.
Yeah, let's come back to that Justin Fuller comment before that caution came out. When you're out in the lead, you have fresh air, and you also have your pick at how you drive the racetrack. You know where you turn in, you know when to let off, you know where to turn up, how much throttle to give, whether to drop off the racetrack or not. You're basically in control of the race, and it is difficult to drive around somebody with fresh air. Now, what we see now is Fuller is driving up to a car that's a little slower. That might allow everybody else to come through, but if he can get clean air, he's the one that's going to get the run where the RPMs are going to be so high because the speed he's carrying that he may have to go to fifth gear as we have caution on the racetrack.
And that is Eric
31.
Arnold.
Yeah.
So let's see here real quick. PTR TV replay and Andre. It looks like he was helped real hard on this one.
Yeah, let's take a look at it, see what exactly happened to this number 31. If he got, he got a shot from that number 4, but he was well around, and he was going to be spinning either way. But pretty simple incident to figure out and kind of suss out what happened there. The number 4 didn't really have a whole lot of options. He's at speed, can't really see what's going on too well. He does have one car in front, so right there you can see kind of followed the mentality of go where they are, not where they will be. But unfortunately for him, 31 did not bounce off that wall like he was expecting, did not go down the track. So in the meantime, we're going to throw it to a quick commercial break. We'll be back for the drop of the green. Stay tuned, you won't miss a thing.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to 130 laps around Phoenix here in the Sim500 Cup, brought to you by Cook's Landscape Group. We're back from that brief little commercial break, as we'll call it. No commercials there, just some beautiful sights and sounds of the cars as they go around. We're back under green flag with a new race leader for the first time, and our new race leaders, of course, Cody Harris in the Geico restart zone, sends that car on the way and takes things around. And again, look at that restart as it goes. Everybody fanning out down into the dog leg, and now into turn 1 we're going to go. Everybody holding on nice and pretty, but Justin Fuller opting to pit there. And Andre, I think that's a pretty interesting decision from him.
Well, I mean, if you look at the lap count, we are getting into it. Like I said, we've had about 3.5 laps of green flagged, so tires are probably still pretty good, but here at lap 40, you got to be thinking about fuel. And I'm sure that he's realized, hey, if I fuel up here, I can probably make it on just one more stop. So cutting himself a bit of a break there, getting it out of the way, possibly a strategy call there. But up front, that does shake things up. Cody Harris leading the way in that 95. David Schildhaus, P2, trying to make it 3 on the year so far. 1/10 of a second back. And then third place, Mark Jorgensen battling with Coleman. Now, Mark has been really quick tonight, but he's also been caught up in traffic. It seems like every time we look at him, he's side by side with somebody, and that's tough. Phoenix really can be a one-lane track as Coleman goes down on the apron momentarily to try to make the move, but Jorgensen's going to get it clear. He scruffed his momentum and had to give that up to Jorgensen. But I'll tell you what, this 88 showing good pace. Now that he's in single file, I'm curious to see what he can do with this 20.
I think it's going to be a real close one to see here what the 88, the 20 can do. We ride on board here. This is going to be with our good race leader, Cody Harris, looking there off of the window net, looking back behind. You can see trying to open up a little bit of a gap there to Schildhouse if possible, which, again, that's one of those that it's easier to say than do. We hop on board here. This is going to be with David Schildhouse looking back, and look how close they get to the wall when they run up. This is a track that they use literally all of the track as they run through, and I enjoy it.
Yeah, these drivers need to be careful. Sometimes you sail it down in one, and when it stuck the previous lap, it heads up to the fence. And you'll graze the fence. You need to make sure you hit it square. You hit it with that right front or right rear, for example, you might knock the toe out or do some damage. So these drivers need to be careful. And as I say that, I see Anthony Calantoni brush the wall over here on the front straightaway as he's having a good run, sitting inside the top 10. The boss man sitting right behind him is Joey Jattina, running in 9th. He just got passed by Anthony Savignano in the 99, making his way back in. And as we look in this top group here, one of the things I find surprising is Tyler Dalton typically is that guy that is leading from the pole. He's been running in the top 10 all night tonight, but unable to claw his way forward. Now as the race kind of settles in, I have to wonder who's got the lone race pace.
Yeah, that is something we've not seen, so that is still one of the mysteries yet to be figured out. It looks like Cody Harris does have some decent pace once we get settled in. He's got out to about 0.6 of a second race lead, which is about the biggest lead we've seen out of anybody, and then Jorgensen about 1.2 back from him. So separation among the top three. Coleman back there in 4th. He's still dealing with the 88. I think the 88's doing what he can to make that car wide and prevent that overtake from happening, but thus far, just kind of riding around in 3rd. Josh Parker, P5. He's not too far behind these two as well. Got a bit of a gaggle behind him.
34th, did he not, Josh Parker?
Yeah, he's up 29 spots on the day.
Yeah, that's your guy. He's the sleepy one that you're going to need to keep an eye on. Josh Parker is outstanding at this racetrack.
Now, the top driver who did pit during that caution is Anthony Savignano. He's working his way up the running order quick. He's on a 10-lap stint thus far, and he just moved up into P8, now P9, as he's battling side by side. But I would assume he took fresh tires because that car is on the move. He's clicking off some really good laps.
He's going side by side here with the 26, Jose Gonzalez there, running down the inside line. The 99 there on the inside line. A little bit of a tap there, getting a little bit. I don't think he meant to wedge that car up. I think he just had a little wiggle there. We were talking about it there during the break, guys, but these cars do look really, really loose there. During the sunset, the sun is down now. I think the track should start to come to him. And Kevin, it was you who really noticed that. You were mentioning just how loose these cars seemed.
Yeah, it's pretty traditional. If you come off the yellow line over there in turn 2 and you have it matted, you're going to get loose. You really have to point the car basically at the outside wall, and once you square up, then you turn the car. If you put a lot of wheel in it and a lot of throttle, the car can break loose, and we saw that for Eric Arnold earlier. And I have to call out one of the things we've not talked about in this racetrack, which is the cones on the walls. You'd be surprised how many drivers use the cones going down the back straightaway and into turn 1 to figure out where their turn-in points are and how to lift and where to brake. Is what a beat and bang match these two are having. Savignano down on the door of the 26. They are using side draft and some other tactics here to try and get their track position.
It's really interesting to kind of watch how they go through here. And Andre, keep watching these battles as they go. Tyler Dalton and Calantoni now in a battle here. Calantoni getting the pass done in the 84. Is that say Talking Giants on it? Let me get a zoom in on that. Talking Giants.
Yes. Yeah. Sponsored by Talking Giants.
Yep, I believe I commentated a league years ago that one of the drivers was either the owner or co-owner of that podcast. They were involved in another league as well. They've been around iRacing. They've definitely gotten their name out there. If you're a sports fan and you're a fan of the Giants specifically, well, there's a podcast for you. And I feel like if anybody's been watching a lot of different leagues, you've definitely heard of that podcast. And I like the consistency, seeing the same sponsors, paint schemes throughout the years, getting the name out there. But look at that number 19 behind P8. He started P7. He was running P7 for the longest time, falling back just a little bit. But at this point, I think Tyler Dalton, he would just take a top 10. If he could just get a top 10, no drama, no muss, no fuss, that would be a great improvement on the way his season has started. If it wasn't for bad luck, he'd have no luck at all. But he's still got about half this race to navigate.
He's looking for just good results, which I think for him is going to be the key here, and the consistency through. Again, it's a long season all the way to November and getting all the way to the end of November. I was working on some stuff for the channel over the weekend, and I plugged into the master schedule, a little peek behind the curtain for you. I've got a big master schedule behind the scenes where I plug in, all of the fun admin tasks that have to get done for the channel for these races. And, plug in a calendar all the way into November, it makes me realize just how long the season is and how, early on, you can kind of breathe a little bit. I don't know if you agree with me on that, Kevin, but that's always been my opinion of a long season like Sim500s. You can breathe a little bit early on, take the pressure off, and really just race and have fun.
You might think that, and if you're one of the stronger drivers, yeah, you probably feel like you have a little space, but we also know that good drivers have missed the cut by, like the real world, a point or two. So they do get a little nervous, as we see out in the back there. Justin Fuller, the timing for him was quite good. We're now looking at that long green flag run. He's got fresh tires. Everybody else running around there on old stuff, except for a handful of drivers. And Justin is one of those drivers that runs hard. So if he has the opportunity to use fresh tires, he's going to put them to work, and he's hustling through the field here as he makes contact with Savignano to the outside. And look up front, Schildhouse is just in the tire tracks of Cody Harris. The two of them are breaking away, and Schildhouse is applying the pressure for the lead.
Yeah, he's reeled them in from about 0.6 of a second back, so going back to the question of who has long run speed, well, it might just be that number 20. And it makes sense, because when you think back to last week at COTA, Schildhouse obviously got spun around very early in the event. He had to play a little bit of catch up. He was carving his way through the field, even after dealing with traffic, even after driving the wheels off that thing. He was still one of the fastest cars on track at the end of that race. So whatever it is about tire conservation, whatever the tactics are, he seems to have that down pretty well.
A good place to be in if you're him too. I think just cruising around behind Cody Harris, you can pace yourself, monitor yourself, hold on. They've got a 2-second gap to Jorgensen behind. I really do think they're in a good spot, especially it seems like the field has settled into a rhythm here. If we go look from the overhead, you can see the pack of cars there off the top of your screen, and as I say that, I see somebody going 3 wide very quickly. So for the most part, it feels like the pack has settled into a bit more of a rhythm. Again, maybe a little uncomfortable rhythm, but a rhythm nonetheless that they're keeping going here. And I think this is going to be fun to watch. Let's go 3 wide. Why don't we? The 10, the 19, the 84. As they come out of turn 4, down past the start finish, hit the dog leg. The 10 drops all the way down there. Richard Beasley.
Yeah, Beasley down there in no man's land, trying to make the shorter path around the racetrack to see if he could work his way around Tyler Dalton. I know Tyler likes to be up front in the first part of the race. He tends to step on the pedal a little harder, and I have to wonder if maybe he used his equipment up, or on the contrary, it could be the other way. He's trying to save. He sees that green flag run right now, and he's going to let those drivers run away. The one driver who's not saving is having an outstanding run. Chad Coleman just moved around to 3rd. Coleman needs to get something going for this season. He's got a finish of 16th and 22, a driver that's perpetually in the top 5 of the championship hunt all through the season is really not having a good start to the year here. And right now, running in 3rd, this is just what the doctor ordered.
It's a good confidence boost too, isn't it, Andre? You know, when you've had sort of those crappy first few runs on the season, and then you can find yourself up in the top 3, just sort of relaxing. And actually, I wouldn't even say relaxing. I like to say relaxing, but, you know, just being able to kind of run your own rhythm, clean air ahead by about 2.5 seconds, and you can kind of just manage, because these cars behind, I mean, talk about elbows out. They've been side by side for I can't tell you how many laps now, and they're not even remotely done.
No, they're not. And, you know, I'm wondering with Justin Fuller how this is going to play out strategy-wise. Obviously, he's on a little bit fresher tires than everybody else. He's worked his way up through the grid, and he's had to take quite a while to do it. And by the time he gets to these leaders, those tires might be pretty worn out. He might have hit the plateau where it will equalize with some of these other drivers who have tires that are 69 laps old. So it's going to be interesting, but he will be in a slightly better fuel position depending on where the cautions fall. I'm not 100% sure what a fuel run is at this track. I want to say it's somewhere around 90 laps, but either way, we have split strategies already tonight, and that is one thing that you guys mentioned at the top of the broadcast. You see that sometimes here at Phoenix.
Yeah, given this is a mile racetrack, there's only 62 laps to go. I mean, you think of it that way now, 61. This is going to click by quickly, and I love the fact that Justin Fuller, when he came out of turn 2 last time underneath Josh Parker, they were door to door, and his car really launched up off the corner. So I think from a grip standpoint, it just proves that he's still got a little something in the tank. He just moved around Mark Jorgensen, and now is working on trying to track down your 3rd place driver, Chad Coleman. So Justin Fuller, 4th. It's a long ways off, a full straightaway almost to your leader up there, but he has kicked in the spurs, and that 51 is flying right now.
I would say, just looking at it, I don't think Justin Fuller has to pit again. I think that will be his one advantage. Andre, as you said, the tires might be screaming for mercy, but in terms of fuel, it is about a 90-lap fuel run through here, and he's only 30 laps into the stint, so he should be okay. Anthony Savignano should be okay. Donaldson, Macklin, Rivera. We'll pull up the stints here on the left-hand side there down the leaderboard. You can see anyone less than 72 should be in a good spot. And caution might be the savior of the night for the leaders.
Yeah, that is a huge save for them, because if this played out green, those drivers who did not have to come in again, I might have this thing in the bag, but times change as the 43 is parked there in turns 1 and 2. We'll take a look at PTR TV replay, try to identify how he wound up there. He's going to be... that was an incident with the number 4.
That's
04.
the 4 a little bit earlier on. Let's find that 70 or that 43 here.
Boost on him here. He really hammered the front end. Is destroyed on this STP.
Ooh, that's a hard snap off too, and then just stationary. There's the extent of the damage. Let's get one more good angle of that here real quick.
And look at this too, to Kevin's point earlier, where were his left side tires when that slide began? They were on the seam.
Hard hit into the wall there. Not what you want to see. Unfortunate to see that happen that way, but again, sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles here. So he'll go into the pits, try to get things done. That seam proving dangerous, and pit lane proving very, very busy for a lot of cars. Cody Harrison, Chad Coleman, and Schulthouse is in. Justin Fuller came in. Everyone pretty much is in pit lane right now.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's good news for Fuller. He got back to the track position he had. He's going to be even with everybody else. He's got a fast car. If the caution was going to come out, at least it didn't come out with him trapped back there in 12th after having run some laps and needing tires the same as everybody else. At least he's back in the mix here in the top 5 with a car that should be even with the front runners.
Yeah, and he did lead some laps earlier in the night. It was a situation where that caution fell right at the perfect time that nobody really had any reason to stay out. The drivers who did pit before, they were about 40 laps into their stint. They'd lost about a second on lap time, so while they could have made it on fuel, the drivers who had to pit and were going to take tires anyways, yeah, they were going to give up that track position, but they were going to drive right back up through the field, so pretty much everybody had their hand forced. They had to pit, and that puts everybody on equal footing as the pace car pulls in, and we're going to see that 95 Cody Harris try to defend the lead from that outside car of the 38 of Coleman, then number 20 behind him as well. And that 51 has been really good on restarts tonight, but he does not have the control of this restart, so I'm curious to see how he stacks up versus Cody in that 95. If he can time this right, get a good shot through the dog leg. That 95, little bit of wheel spin to start it out, but he is going to get clear. 51 times it about as well as he possibly could have. Nearly going to go 3 wide down into turn 1. It is 2x2 all the way through back to about 7th. Cody Harris maintaining the lead. Schildhaus under the 38. Looks like he's going to pick up that position handily. He should be able to get it through turn 1 if he can stay with him. No, he cannot. Run on the outside is going to protect P2 for Coleman. But look at this on the outside. Here goes Fuller. He's going to try to get a run down the dogleg, but into the wall. That momentum is gone. Any run he was going to get got taken away by that safer barrier.
Watching this go through, I mean, you've got such a hard battle going, and you can't afford a wall tap. The 51 now dropping down the order a little bit further, down into 7th place lead. Cody Harris holds on. Chad Coleman looking for something. David Schildhaus in 3rd. Josh Parker there in 4th. I believe Josh Parker was your sleeper pick of the night, Kevin, and he's up 30 places on the day, and he's almost within the top 3.
Yeah, Parker running in 4th, sees out of his windshield a side-by-side battle. It's Schildhaus to the outside. Inside, Chad Coleman trying to fend him off as Cody Harris has 4 or 5 car lengths out front. They go down the back straightaway. Schildhaus with a good run off of 2. They head to 3, and he is door-to-door trying to get around Chad Coleman. You have to make hay while the sun is shining, and I'll tell you what, Josh Parker looking back there to see if either one of them can slip, and he could sneak on by and contest Harris for the win.
Did you all see that save that Savignano just made? Because if you didn't, we're going to have to catch that one here in just a moment once these two sort of settle it out. Because that was, that could have been a big one. That could have been a Daytona-style big one. But somehow saved that, dropped down the order, but thankfully nothing huge happened. That was a mega save there a few laps ago.
Yeah, we will dial it up and try to figure out exactly what happened. Obviously, this race has not been a stranger to chaos, and could have been another big one there, but we will take a look. Keep your eye on that 99. Anthony Savignano, just a little bit of net code there, I think, from the car up above. He's swerving to the left, swerving to the right. Man, oh man, how did he save that thing? I cannot believe he brought that back around, and then he rejoins the track right underneath that 84 machine, and cautions out again for the 384th time tonight here at Phoenix.
And here is why we have the caution. It's the number 6 here. Slide, and then did the 8 hit him? Did the 8
I don't think he did.
Just nicked him.
If he did, it was very close.
Let's
Heads
get
up driving.
for real. Let's get on board with that number right there of Randy Yoakum, because that was I mean, you want to talk about impressive if he didn't hit him there. Give me a good angle of this. Let's get one good run here. So here's the replay of this going through. The 6 is spinning. He's on the brakes. And just the lightest of love taps. Man.
That was, and I got to point out, this next-gen car is not easy to slow down without wheel hopping. He very easily could have panicked and locked that thing up and slid into him at Mach 1. But he actually rolled into the brakes just about perfectly. That was a great piece of driving out of the number 8. I do not want that to go unnoticed. That was great.
Was really good. And also, I do want to mention that was a good little long green flag run too that we got from everyone. It kind of gave a good idea, I think, of pace at that point too, Kevin. Seemed like everybody was really sort of settled in on their own running through. Lots of good battles through the field, but you know what? My eye is just drawn back to Josh Parker, the number 81, yet again.
Yeah, I think we're going to see now that everybody's elbows up, no one's going to give. They're going to take all the way through. With once it gets to, I don't know what it is about sim racers and real racers. 50 to go. It is game time, and these drivers will be hustling as much as they can. I see one driver, Anthony Calantoni, down on pit road trying to get some damage done. He had such a strong run early in the go. He was looking for a good run here tonight, and unfortunately, it looks like he's trying to get some damage to finish down 27th in the order. I saw Jason Pick get a lucky dog a little bit earlier. He was 4 laps down, and right now it looks like Doug Roth is in that lucky dog position. So, even if you're in the back, you're racing as hard as any of these guys out front trying to contest for the win.
Yeah, that's always one of the things I think that you have to remember as a driver is just because, the race isn't going exactly your way doesn't mean you're down or out. You can keep things going and around as we're on the one to go here, coming up towards turn 1. Guys, what do you say we do some temporary loud engines on this restart? Y'all opposed to that? Y'all opposed to some temporarily loud engines?
Make it happen, Captain.
All right, well, we'll bring it through. Andre, are you good with temporarily loud engines?
Crank it up.
All right, we can't legally say crank it up for reasons that I don't feel like I have to answer, but we all know. But we'll bring it down through Cody Harris, David Schildhouse, Chad Coleman, Josh Parker, your top 4 as it stands. And then, of course, that 5th place back is just going to be a cluster fire. And as we come through, we'll head towards down this long back stretch. Let all the drivers come by. We'll go towards the entry of 3. And as we get these cars going, let's go ahead and go up to the starter cam, prep for it. And ladies and gentlemen, let's get some temporary loud engines on this restart. And well, before they could get up to speed, we go back to caution for the 1174th 6 bajillion. How far away is the moon to us number? Caution run on the night. Seems like, man, when they get a run, they get a run. When they don't have the run, they can't find the run here. It's, man, this track is playing tough on them all the way through, but I mean, nobody really changed positions through. We'll get a quick PTR TV replay dialed up of how that caution came to fruition. It was right there off the edge of the screen. It looked like somebody just going a little bit loose there. I couldn't tell exactly who it was.
It was a
I think
sideways.
I think the drivers might have taken our temporarily loud engines a little bit too literally. We didn't mean that temporary, and we could have used a little bit more green, but the 98 almost saved that. That was actually more of a result of iRacing's criteria, which is a car at a 45-degree angle on the racing surface with a car nearby. That is what you get a yellow flag for, and that is what happened. But realistically, we could have kept this thing going because he made a really good recovery there. Got a bit of a shot from the car behind, but he straightened it out. Everybody kept going. 98 did not panic. He didn't snap oversteer. He did everything right. And luckily, he'll be able to come down pit road, get those flat spotted tires off the car, get that damage fixed, see what he can salvage here in the last 40.
Weird position we find ourselves in right now. Kevin, I'm going to ask you to look into the future here for me. You got Chevy, Toyota, Ford, your top 5. Is it going to stay that way?
No.
Fantastic.
No, I'm pretty confident it won't. There's a couple of those players sitting back there in the second half of the top 10 that I think are going to come through here. They're hard chargers, and they're not going to get stuck back there. I think they're going to push their way through.
I'm excited to see who ends up where as this run continues along. Couple of drivers to note on the day as it stands. Jason Kolovage here has been in a good run on the day, up 18 positions, started 31st, currently 13th. I also want to point out David Comstock, driver that I don't think we've talked about either, up 14 positions on the day. One more, Patrick Colby, good driver to mention there on the day, who's up plenty of places, 17 on the day currently. A few drivers, kind of the heartbreaks of the race. Anthony Calantoni down 10, currently sitting in 23rd. Looking through a bit further, who else is a big heartbreak of the day? Well, the other heartbreaks of the day I don't think are actually on the track still. So Mike Montesi is down 16, Bentley Glasser is down 21, and Robert Friery, the number 2, we saw his incident early. He is in last place scored and down 74 laps on the day. 1 to green here on the stand as we go. Let's see where this lands us. I think this is going to be a very quick run. We get going green yet again, and the race leaders very quickly running through. Cody Harris, David Schildhouse, and Chad Coleman. Justin Fuller up into 4th very quickly. Josh Parker in at 5th, still trying to fight things through. Going to fight it towards the inside we go. And Justin Fuller, Josh Parker, they're not going to settle it out, but I do think that Josh Parker on that inside line might have a bit of a run, but it is still the Cody Harris game that demands the lead, and Cody Harris looking to get 2 for 2 here. Back-to-back wins here in Sim 500.
I'll tell you what, I cannot believe we made it through turns 3 and 4 without incident. There was some stuff going on in the back of the pack, just on the edge of the screen, that had me thinking we were about to get another yellow, but they sorted it out so far. All this battling behind, allowing Cody Harris to pull out to a pretty decent lead over David Schildhouse, battling with Coleman there in the 38, Justin Fuller in that 51 in P4. Everybody's still together. This side-by-side battle, that's the number 60 of Carlavage. He's got a few drivers to contend with, including that number 26 of JJ Gonzalez. Going to swap positions there for the 38 as well. Ryan Macklin, not talking about a lot tonight, but he's been running about back, having a nice day there. I'll tell you what, Kevin had another race like this. He was going to make it into this thing we are. He had a good night.
Yeah, for sure. The drivers are full course right now. I'm impressed with Jeff Hollins currently running at 11 right in that area using Carlavage. Just slipped underneath and is sneaking and going to get himself podium finishes. We talked about Chevy up front. Look who's in third. Toyota. He was about to make it. The Chevy Toyota. Here comes the unit. Toyota Fuller on the charge down on the bottom. I'll tell you, I would not count out Josh Parker. I remember those two have history last time we ran it there, so I'm sure when they look out the window and see each other next to them, wow. That is tight quarters. That's in the back of one more, sure.
Drivers have very long memories, and they don't let things go, I can tell you that. I'm thinking back in the pack a little bit here. This is back in 20th place. Look at that tap of the wall. I believe that was for Calantoni, who just tapped the wall there, if I'm not mistaken. So at number 6 of Thomas George, we saw him have a spin earlier, I believe, as we run through and continue to battle along. Everybody trying to keep things nice and tidy, but we do also have to watch this fight up front. Schildhouse really has the pace going here on Cody Harris, is right on his rear bumper as we hit lap 95 of 130, and is just going to keep that pressure grooving. These two pulling out a 1-second gap on 3rd place.
Yeah, they are right away now. Fuller did have to contend with Coleman. That kind of hard pass, and I think that's a little down quite a bit. We'll see if Justin Fuller really is down. He's got that track, that open air, but not going to be easy because that's out a little bit. I think even though he's easy, I don't think he can take line maneuver and really high up because if he does, Coleman's going to capitalize on that. So in the meantime, he's going to have to deal with that. And the leader here is David Schildhouse is doing that a little bit longer run pace than the race. He started up late a little bit. One green flag run went on more than about 5 laps. So Schildhouse is leading Catbird right now, but I'll tell you, here track like this, it's a big deal. It'll affect your handling. Reeling somebody in, getting there is one thing. Making that pass, that's a different ordeal.
Schildhouse tucked in the tire tracks of Cody Harris. I think he's licking his chops. He's running. The two of them are trading times back and forth as to who's running faster. And Schildhouse is well aware that if he tries to contest with Harris to try and get the lead, he's going to slow the two of them up, and that's going to allow Justin Fuller to make it a three-car race. But I don't know that they're going to have much choice. Perhaps Schildhouse is looking out the rearview mirror, or at least at the scoring pylon. 51 is coming. It will be a three-car race, and if I'm Schildhouse and I know I'm faster, feel like I'm faster, I might want to make the move and see if I can get away before Justin Fuller is there to spoil my party.
Yeah, and really, if you are Schildhouse, Fuller is the problem, honestly, when all things are considered, as we ride on board here with the rear bumper cam of Cody Harris. And listen to that engine. Listen to that engine sound as we go through. He's pushing it. He's pushing it. Again, stays in fourth gear. Gets the run up to about 155 miles an hour, if I saw that correctly there, right at the end of the back stretch as we come around through. And Schildhouse really trying to have a look. And, you know, Andre, you mentioned dirty air. I commentated a race last night. It was IndyCar at Pocono. You want to talk about dirty air? I forgot how bad dirty air could be on cars. And if you never ran an IndyCar, well, dirty air is rough there, but it kind of reminds me that even in stock cars, you know, dirty air in these cars is a big problem, whether you want to admit it or not. A lot of people kind of look at them and they go, oh, they're just big blocks of, you know, metal. They can just plow through anything. But no, air is a big problem for them as they go through, and it can cause a lot of problems. Tire wear, all sorts of things, you know, can really mix things up. And when you're running in these cars, there's not a lot you can do to account for it. And I gotta wonder if Schildhouse maybe backing off a little bit here. He's back to about 0.3 of a second. Maybe just trying to save a little bit more here to go to the end. We're within 30 laps to go.
Well, I know this is a podcast topic, of which this is not, but I will say dirty air is an even bigger deal with this next-gen car than it was with Gen 6, I believe, because really the dirty air becomes an issue when everybody is very close in pace, and those minute differences matter a little bit more. And this car has more mechanical grip than the Gen 6 car. It's got independent rear suspension, which means the rear end's a little bit more planted throughout the corner. The weight shift makes it feel more in the track. The way that just everything about this car is designed to give it more mechanical grip, more underbody grip, and that makes dirty air really bad. You know, it'd be one thing if we're in a car tomorrow that has 1,000 horsepower, or a Gen 4 that has 780 horsepower, and they're just sliding through the corners, and the dirty air really doesn't affect anything because they're just struggling to make laps to begin with. But this car is generally pretty comfortable, and that's when you notice that dirty air.
The only other thing that I'm really noticing is I keep hearing little bits of sheet metal scraping. I keep hearing little bits of metal scraping on wall. So it seems like a lot of drivers just giving that wall a love tap out of turn 2, I believe is really where we're seeing it. Just that light little love tap, not nothing crazy, but enough of those together can cause big problems here, Kevin, if you're not careful.
Yeah, pretty common that you come up out of turn 4 and scrape the wall at the cactus, and then, like I said, to try and keep the car from breaking loose, you come out of turn 2 and let it go up pointed at the wall. It is not uncommon to rub the right rear on the wall, as we see different drivers take different lines coming up off the corner. Some of them are a little more conservative. They don't want to be others, and others are hanging it out all the way through. As that 14 of Jatina gets a little loose there, that's going to stack up the field here. He's going to go to the bottom, and that's a compensation move that if you lose a little momentum, you cut the track and see if you can keep your pace with everybody else. Dalton to the outside. He's going to get around. Here comes the 8. Trying to get past Randy Yoakum. He's being pushed by the Tide Ride. And Joey Jatina, sharp looking race car. I love the gold and black and red on that number 14. And he's got his hands full. Every time he comes out of that corner, the car seems rather unsettled.
Yeah, at first I thought he got a little bit of help from Tyler Dalton there on the exit going through, but no, actually, I think seeing him do it again, same place next lap, I think he's just loose. He's not liking the car at all right now as we run through lap 107 of 130 on the night. David Schildhouse here running up front trying to bring the fight to Cody Harris, but continuing to drop back a little bit more. Justin Fuller here in third, Chad Coleman in fourth, and Mark Jorgensen in fifth. Josh Parker in a fight for his life to hold on to P7 if possible. Wesley Donaldson not making it easy, and look at Brian Macklin just very much back in the back there, just kind of sniffing along, looking to see where he can put his nose in the mix.
And this is a difficult time to be battling 2 wide, let alone 3 wide, as the 30 is going to go down to the bottom of the track. They are almost 40 laps into this stint on these tires, and the further you get into this run, the harder it is to hold the bottom. So you sail it in there to make the move. You try to get that thing to stick, and if you're lucky, the car will let you lift. The momentum stalls out, and you do not complete that pass. If you're not so lucky, you lift, and the car keeps going up the track, and then you make contact. And we've seen that. That was the cause of a couple cautions tonight. So these two battling, definitely a bit of a risky situation, but every point matters. I mean, a lot of these drivers have had a turbulent beginning to the season, and at this point, they're just scrapping, right? They're trying to get everything they can because they're in panic mode. They need points, and if they got to go side by side on 40-lap old tires to do it, that is exactly what they're going to do.
It's going to be so fun to watch and see kind of where they find themselves. Certified Code Brown moment. That was scary. Whew.
Yeah, I was looking to see if there was any markings on the 81. We knew he had contact earlier in the race. I wonder if the car had a little bit of damage and he's running under power, but that car slipping back as Karlovac slides over to see if he can get a side draft on him, and now he's going to try and drive around using momentum to the outside. Up front, Cody Harris has broken away to 0.7 of a second lead, and Justin Fuller had run into 0.8 of a second, but now he's dropped back to 1.3 almost, with Cody Harris starting to leg it out as that all goes to waste. Guess what? Caution number 10 on the speedway. This is going to make it interesting.
Man, another caution on the night. 10th caution. Is that what you just said? Make sure I heard you right.
Maybe 84? Yeah, 10th caution.
Man. All right.
Be still my heart. Who could have predicted?
I like it because we get to re-rack and do it over.
Man.
You say what you want. This is the fun part of it, is to see who can take advantage of this. And I believe everybody's going to come for 4 tires and fuel, or at least 2, is the 84 is just toast. The car cannot track at all. Talking Giants down there doing loop-de-loos on pit road trying to get to his pit box.
And I'll tell you, there is a lot of drivers who think this is going to be fun because, for example, that number 81, doing what he was doing, he was using up those tires in that battle. He was driving that thing for all it was worth, using up his equipment. Now he's got a chance to get fresh tires and see what he can do with equal equipment. And all of these drivers, this just ups the intensity. If you're looking for hard driving and good battles, that is what you're going to get at the end of this race, because with only, I would assume, 15 to go at the time of the green, they don't have to worry about fuel. They don't have to worry about tire conservation. They can drive those cars all out, not holding back a single bit, and that is where you're going to see who's got pace and who doesn't.
I think that's the best way to have it too, honestly, as it goes through. Let's see if we can get a PTR TV replay of that caution dialed up. 1 second here as we try to do just that. Where did that caution start, gents? Make sure I pull the right driver, right incident.
97, 99, and the 22 heading in for a 3-wide tussle that everybody else came upon, including the 84 and the 6. So
we'll follow through with the 99 here. Let's start out there. We got here in this moment, right as the caution came out, was the best time for my overlay software to decide that it was over things, right? That's just
97 got a little loose there, and when he came back up on the racetrack, this is where the contact occurred.
And then there's your caution.
And then as the 22 stood sideways, the 6 came in, got a piece of it, and then the 84 came in and got a piece of it.
Man, the 9.
Didn't see the 9.
All right, well, that.
And if you follow the 84 here, he's crabbing all the way into pit road as we're going to get ready to go back to green. But that was a mess for quite a few drivers.
But it was. Talking Giants is going to be talking about how cars don't like to crab as we go down the backstretch. Pace car is in. David Schildhouse, Cody Harris. David Schildhouse, the control car this time. So I think Schildhouse just biding the time, made the change there through pit road, and we are going to go green with 15 to go here. Andre, you said 15 to go. You were right on the money with that. Schildhouse has control, and as we take things green, let's see how this battles out here towards the end.
Schildhouse to the point. They're going to be 3 wide for third contact. That may be another yellow. The 81 going sideways. There it is.
That's the 38.
26 involved.
For Chad Coleman, that is just heartbreaking.
And that is going to be another caution on the night. So let's go back, get a good replay of this because they went 4 wide into turn 1 there. Don't know if y'all noticed that, but 4 wide into turn 1. That's a way to do things. Maybe not the best way to do things here, but 4 wide through, around. 95 crowds the 81. 81 comes around. The 88 goes through as well. The 19, the 38 slides. The 13 behind. 26 hits the 38 a little bit. And, well, you kind of just... Yeah, literally. Who called bingo?
You got all those numbers, and I hit bingo.
Man, that was a moment there. But now, look at this. Wesley Donaldson up into second place as it goes. 14 to go here. I don't think anyone's going to pit. Everybody's already pit. Last caution, 3 laps ago, so I don't know why you'd pit now. What's the prediction here for the final run on the night?
My prediction is that it will not be the final run of the night.
I'm trying to speak good things into society here, okay? I'm trying to speak good news in, guys. Come on now.
I think these guys have a lot of points on the table, a lot of cars to potentially pass. I think they got fresh tires, and I think we're going to see a lot of optimism, just like we saw on that restart. You can't blame them. You know, I mean, it's the end of the race. You've waited all week for this thing. You don't want to let the number 20 get another one, right? I mean, he's got 2. You want to get a sticker on your car, too. You want that win sticker, so you got to go full send. But how about that number 91, Wesley Donaldson? We've not really talked about him. He was involved in a spin earlier in the night. Now he's going to be restarting on the front row. He's got a real shot at this thing, although I will say that 20's been really good on the restarts, as has the 95. So it is really stacked up front. I mean, anybody in this top 5, it's so close on talent. I couldn't tell you who's going to be the better driver here, but I know they got about 10 laps to sort it out at the time of green. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be real fun.
I tell you, that's heartbreaking for Mark Jorgensen. He drove sideways, got missed it, kind of got pushed through it, and then had contact, and unfortunately he is out of this event. Several key players that have run up front are now on the sidelines, or have had their runs compromised, and that opens the opportunity to get a different outcome. And I think that's what we're going to see. The 91 of Wesley Donaldson finished the podium last time we were here, and I think he could do it again. He's put himself in the position for a potential win as the pace car pulls off. I think with 12 laps to go, it's going to be more of the same. These drivers are going to try and get whatever they can, and I don't feel like the stature that we have right now is going to last. We're going to see some contact for sure.
Indeed, that I don't think I can say it better myself. Contact for sure as we come through. Schildhouse will have control of the field with Donaldson on the outside to the guy kart restart zone. Donaldson caught sleeping. That top line checks up. 51's trying to look for something. The 93 has the rear bump to the 51. We're green through. Cody Harrison in second place. The 30, Brian Macklin trying to make a look up the inside. We're going to go through into turn 1, and the 30 is going to slide up, and the 95 into the wall. Do they keep it together? They do. Let's go 4 wide. The 26, and no. There's the spin for Macklin. Let's rack him up yet again. Look at that. 2 cars rolling back. No!
Oh, no.
Hold the brakes. Come on.
Left pedal, left pedal.
Oh, man.
I told you.
Kevin, you and I should go into the fortune-telling business. I think we'd make a fortune.
.com.
Get this PTR TV replay up really quick. So there's the 95 and the 30 both washing up. Washing up. 95 beats him down and hits the 60. The 60 collects. Can't tell who that is. That's Coleman. And then the 30 just...
Yeah.
I mean...
The Tampax car got a little bit bloodied in that wreck.
You know, guys, we don't mince meat here at PTR TV. We don't not call things out that we see them. Let this be a lesson to everyone. When you're in a wreck, hold the brakes. It's about the best I can say. When you're in a wreck, hold the brakes.
It's fair to share that every incident is reviewed by the officials, and drivers do get penalized for things that are not considered good racecraft. So there will be cautions and warnings, and to some extent sometimes drivers are set out. So there is a policing system, but this is just the nature of short track racing. And while this is a mile oval and most don't consider it, it races a lot like a short track. It's not much different from, say, a Richmond on entry to turn 1 and how everybody funnels down into the optimal groove, and they're on top of each other, much like restrictor plate style track. I mean, the entire field is within 2 seconds, and when trouble occurs, unfortunately, you're going to have bumper cars. And the bad news is you could run extremely well all race long, only to have your run go south in the final 10 laps. A case in point, look at the 38, who's had an outstanding run. Now, right now, he's been able to just keep plowing his way through this and still sits in there in 8th. He can salvage something, but this opens a door for others. Jeff Hollingsworth, 97, running in 7th. I saw Patrick Colby, who didn't get a good start, and that might have been a blessing because he was out behind when all that occurred, and he was able to check up, and he's still holding down a top 10 position.
Going to be real interesting to see who can finish where in this run on the night. We're going to be 7 to go when they cross the line, and we'll see if the drivers can behave through on the 7 to go. We've had 70,011 cautions run through. It's been exciting. We've had some green flag runs. We've had some very quick cautions on the night through to turn 1 and then get a caution. We'll see who lands what where in the end. With 7 to go, it'll be Schulthouse in the lead, Fuller in P2. Let's see how they go. Donaldson, we know, doesn't mess around on the restart. And let's see how they get going here. Through the Geico restart zone we go, and look at that very quickly. On the defense goes Schulthouse all the way down, running Fuller to the ground, and look at that. And now look at Cody Harris. Cody Harris.
Oh, what did I say about the optimism?
And caution. Well, let's get a replay dialed up of that one, and I think we all know where that came from.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go to a blimp cam for this one, I believe, because that's probably going to get us our best shot. And the one thing...
8 wheels is better than 4?
The one thing I want to look at the 20. I mean, almost hitting that pit exit wall. Driving him in the 51 down. They come through, the 51 wiggles right on the seam, takes them both to go around, and then the 51, I mean, the whole field just has to stack up behind. There's the 38, there's the 8. I'm trying not to call bingo. There is that pink number 49, trying to avoid a double bloodbath of the night, and we get things going through, done, dusted, and Bob's your uncle. With this being said, we're 6 laps to go. We're going to take this to a quick 60-second commercial break. I promise it'll be our only commercial break of the night, and we'll bring you back whenever the green flag is getting ready to fly.
Industries across the board utilize fleet trucks on a daily basis, from your local utility company to your grocery store. And many of these companies choose full-service fleet leasing. With a traditional lease, you're responsible for everything after you get the truck. But a full-service lease includes all the maintenance and other services at a set cost. Regardless of the scope or range of your fleet needs, Transervice will engineer a fully customized, full-service fleet leasing solution optimized to your requirements. From asset acquisition requiring no capital investment, to the engineering, configuration, and selection of your fleet equipment, to the people, facilities, and equipment to keep your fleet maintained and repaired. Transervice gives you everything you need, with advantageous fleet pricing based on our national account status, compliance expertise, inspections, licensing, permitting, personal property taxes, nationwide roadside service. We cover it all for you. Contact us today to learn why leading companies rely on Transervice for complete turnkey leasing solutions.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. A big thank you to Transervice for sponsoring the Sim500 Cup Series, brought to you by Cook's Landscape Group. We're race 4 Phoenix. We're getting ready to bring this thing back. It'll be 3 to go at the line, so it's not a green-white checkered. It's a pseudo green-white checkered. Kevin, I think this is going to be a good one to go to the end.
Yeah, and again, we've talked about different drivers now in the mix. You got Joey Jatina running top 5. Kevin DeBrown, we have not talked about him, and he's fast on the short run. He's going to be outside your leader here, Cody Harris, on this restart. So it ain't over yet. Let's see where this is going to land. We're about to go back to green, and I think this is going to settle it with 4 to go.
And we'll bring it back green through the Geico restart zone. Cody Harris will be your control car. Gets it back going green. Cody Harris, very defensive, very quick on that 93. Again, they're both running down on the bottom side here. Let's get to the blimp cam. Look at the checkup. Look at the run there in the mid pack. Joey Jatina dropping back. The boss man and the 97, the 20. David Schildhouse, I believe, wants to get back on the run. 3 to go still as we sit. And as we go, look at this battle go. Cody Harris, Kevin Brown, Schildhouse, Andre. Who brings this one home? I don't think we're decided on anything yet.
I mean, Cody Harris is in the best position. He's had one of the best cars all night, but another yellow flag is going to say that we have not decided for sure. This is going to shake things up because now Kevin Brown going to be starting on row, I believe he was row 2 before. Now he'll be row 1. That is going to be interesting. We'll dial up a replay, see what transpired here. I think it was a number 30 machine, maybe the number 99 involved as well.
That's a stack up by the 28 and the 99, yeah.
So you've got them here running together, and 99 comes down a little bit, 28 taps, comes together, and then the 28 hits the 30, 28 still spinning the 30. Brian Macklin collects someone, and then the 36 goes through. You know, Phoenix is a hard track. I don't think I've said that yet. I think we've kind of leaned into it a bit all the way through. Phoenix is a hard track to really kind of nail down on the night. So, you know, sometimes part of the game is cautions happen, things happen, drivers are racing hard. Phoenix is one of those tracks that everyone feels very good at, of course, because, well, this isn't the only time in the season we only visit Phoenix. How is that so hard to say? I don't know, but this isn't the only time in the season we're going to visit Phoenix here, Kevin. And, you know, next time we're at Phoenix, it can have bigger implications than just a round 4.
Yeah, we'll be back here around championship time, and I'm sure drivers are taking notes. They keep track of these races, and they understand what happens, the dynamics of it. But, you know, this is a conscious decision at the end. You're either going to run on the front bumper, hope the guy in front of you slips up, slides up, and you're going to slide underneath and pick up a position, or you're going to leave a gap, and if there's trouble ahead, try and shoot the gap and see if you can pick up positions that way. It's 2 ways to run this racetrack, but usually, like we said, when you get within 50 to go, especially with 25 to go, and certainly when you're in a green-white checker, I think you're just going to hammer down and try and get as many positions as possible. Got to call out a couple drivers having a great run. The 17 of Kevin Stone sitting there in 17th right now. Right behind him, Brian Wertman in the 74 has kept his car spick and span. The Racing for Souls Camaro is clean as could be. He's in the top 20. And Doug Sigmund, we saw that little trouble for him. He's running really well there. As I think some of these drivers are going to have a pretty decent night, even though we've had extracurricular activities here and there.
Absolutely. It's going to be.
Well, I think the extracurricular activities is actually a bit of a saving grace for some of these guys. I mean, if you get involved in an incident early on, you know, getting the field racked and stacked is a big benefit. I mean, look at that number 20. Not too long ago, he was sideways in the wall. Now he's got a shot at the win. So it's been a really exciting race. And I think that what seems to be one man's trash is another man's treasure when it comes to some of these incidents. There are winners, there are losers. And speaking of winners and losers, we are about to decide this race. The number 20 going to be hungry on row 2. He's been really good on the restarts tonight. That 93, he got a great jump on that last restart. Keep an eye on him, because if he gets a good enough restart here, that could be lights out. 97 going to be on the outside of row 2, out of the corner into the Geico restart zone. We're going to take the flag, and the 20 aggressively pushing the 95 on this restart all the way down to the inside wall, making both those drivers take a shallow entry. That shallow entry opens up the top line. 93 going to make a move for it, but here comes the 20 as well.
Coming through around and caution out. We'll go to green-white checkered number 2. Not sure what that one's for. Let's see if we can't get this one dialed up really quick.
So a little extracurricular activity going on there for the 49 as we cut away from that shot. Not sure what that was. Oh, there you go. That explains it. They're the 2.
Well,
as Colby went in and...
See, so that's the 28 and the 49 coming together here. So as they come through, 49 just washes up, collects the 28.
Yeah, just missed the corner, and then Colby came back, if you follow this through, and said, I don't really appreciate that. Give him a little shot over here just to show his displeasure. So, yeah, that does happen. Boink. Come on now.
The Tampax car was kind of stringing him along there in that wreck, but either way.
28's still not done.
We're not done. We're going to bump bumpers here, show some displeasure. Maybe just some friendly banter. I don't know. I don't want to make any assumptions. Could just be a little roughing them up, but
you gotta let them know, and then you move along. Citizens, nothing to see here, right?
Nothing to see here.
That's
there is a driver that needs to be called out. He hung around in the top 10, top 15, and now he's running top 5. Where did he come from? Stephen Miles in the 24, running 4th right now.
I don't know where he came from, but I do know he has a PTR TV logo, so he's caught my attention at least once here. 33rd, currently running 4th. That's a bit ridiculous if we have to be honest. And he's on par for a top 3 here if it can run through. We'll see how this goes. And guys, as we get set up on this 1 to green, something we haven't mentioned is right as I have to cough, of course. Something we haven't mentioned is that this is our only broadcast this week. So Sim500 running this through. iRacing week 13 releases 8 a.m. tomorrow. So these guys run this through, and then they'll take the week to relax, and they'll bring us back in next week whenever things get real busy here at the channel again. It'll be interesting to see. We're going to at least until June. We have 4 nights of streaming a week with 5 streams a week, doubling it up on Thursdays. So that'll be a lot of fun to watch and see how things go. But to get there, we got to get through this race. Andre, final prediction real quick. Who's the winner?
I'm going to have to say Cody Harris. It seems like no matter what a good restart everybody behind him gets, he seems to just be a little bit better. He's been really good on the jump tonight when they get to that Geico restart zone. But now that I've said that, probably giving him the commentator's curse, so I'm going to apologize in advance if anything happens to that 95. Kevin Brown on that outside, though. He's going to make it interesting, and he's going to make it so that Cody Harris does not get to just drive away with it. It's not going to be uncontested. And that number 20 as well. And that 24 up plus 30 positions from where he began. What a night it has been.
3 races so far this season, too, for Miles, so this is no clue.
No. 99 going to be loose, but we're going to stay green. He is not on the racing surface. Yes, he is.
Caution right away. That 99 didn't even get out the gate. We will use green-white checkered number 2 of the night, if I am doing math correct. So we had that pseudo green-white checkered. This will be an actual green-white. Or we had the pseudo green-white, 1 green-white. This will be 2 green-white. I feel like I'm writing a Dr. Seuss book on that one. So 13 got wiggly, 26 got into him, the 99 tried to avoid, and then just had to lock it up, and that was all she wrote.
Yeah, you're going to have those stack ups on restarts, and it started way ahead of him. He made an evasive maneuver that I realistically think he had to make. If he stayed in the throttle and didn't steer out of the way, there was probably going to be more contact. But that banking transition, it'll get you. It's gotten a few drivers tonight, and once again, causing somebody to get caught a little short and slide down to that inside wall. I'm a little surprised iRacing considered that a yellow. He was way down to the bottom, but sometimes the sim is, let's say, very cautious with it, and they want to make sure that they get the call when they need to get the call. But this is...
Oh, actually, that's the checkered. What?
That's it.
Oh.
Yeah. We're
So
done.
the 95, Cody Harris, winning this event. David Schildhouse getting up to P2 just before the time of that yellow. That's going to wind up with Kevin Brown on the final step of the podium. Stephen Miles with an impressive top 5. Boy, oh boy.
So admin called that one, it appears. So we finished under caution. We did not take another green-white checkered attempt. We had him in the bag, but it looks like race control said, nope, this is the time to call it, and called it there. Cody Harris with the win. Let's see if he does any donuts here, any sort of celebratory spins. He had a good run on the night, so led 88 laps this race. Definitely got to be happy. And come on, give me the donuts. There we go. That's the donuts I paid for.
Yeah, 2 wins on the season. I think it's time to find him a sponsor.
Well,
If you listen closely, you can hear the biggest sigh of relief of all time coming out of that 95, because let me tell you, there is no more stressful position to be in on a restart than being in the lead, especially when you're coming to the end of the race, because you know everybody behind you is going to be aggressive, right? They're not going to cut you any slack. They're going to get crazy. All you can do is hit your marks and hope that everybody else does the same. Hope that no incidents occur that you're caught up in. And he had to do that right at the end of the race, but he held on over David Schildhouse. Impressive P2 from that number 20. But here are the final race results. Cody Harris taking the win. Schildhouse P2. Kevin Brown 3rd. Stephen Miles all the way up from 33rd up to 4th. Jeff Hollingsworth going to be P5. Outside of the top 5, Wesley Donaldson also up quite a bit from where he qualified. Joey Gattina, the admin himself, going to be P7. And then you got Justin Fuller in the 51. David Comstock and Tyler Dalton finally with a good result. He's getting this year turned around.
take it from there to P11, Jose Gonzalez, and then Chad Coleman in 12th, Charles Van Shake in P13, Randy Yoakum in 14th, Kevin Stone 15th, EJ O'Rourke in P16, Doug Sigmund in 17, 18th was Brian Macklin, Gerald Livingston 19th, Patrick Colby in 20th. And guys, what do you say we just round this one out real quick? It was Workman to Hudson to Pick to Savignano to George to Woods to Karlovage to Beasley to Jorgensen Jr. We talked about that 88 a lot, but in the end it was P29. Josh Parker all the way down in P30. Rivera, Calatoni, Wetzel, Roth, Arnold, Montezi, Glazer, Fowler, Fiery the Third, Whitaker, and DeAndre Kane, your 41 cars on the night. I got a feeling we got a lot of drivers that are going to have a lot of opinions here on the night. And Kevin, I'm going to give you our race winner here. One Mr. Cody Harris. He's now gone back-to-back with wins. Let's see how he feels on the night. If I could pull him into the broadcast booth for you. There you go.
Yeah, we're down here in Victory Lane with Cody Harris, who is finishing up his burnouts, and we're going to have him hop out of the car. Cody, 2 for 2 in 4 races this season, a strong start to the Sim500 championship run. I know it's early in the season, but after watching what happened here tonight, you got to feel good about getting the victory here at Phoenix.
Yeah, that was a fun race. There was a lot of cautions, but I was glad in the middle there we got some long green flag runs. That's kind of my strong suit, I think, in this car. I'm not quite as good on the short runs. And then, then on I think the last pit stop, wasn't sure if I'd ever get back around David if it went green when I lost control of the race. And then the next caution, I think they got loose below me and I thought I was going to get wiped out. And then the next one, they kind of wiped out in front and got me back in the lead. And then, looking forward to what's coming up in the season.
Yeah, lap 41 to 115, you held sway over the field. You were actually driving away at some point, although Schildhouse kept you honest. Who was scaring you the most? I know David gave you a good run. Justin Fuller was fast all night. And then on the end, you had to fend off a fast Kevin DeBrown. So were you watching out the mirror, and how important was clean air for your car tonight?
Yeah, I was watching the gap. I think the more important thing is just not melting the right rear and keeping that under you, especially at this track. The cooler track helped a lot, but just making sure you're driving it straight off the corner. And I was just kind of managing the gap a little bit, but then just trying to get into a good rhythm. But yeah, it seemed like there for a while, David and I were trading who was quicker. I'd make a mistake, then maybe he'd make a mistake. So I was wishing we were going to get more green flag racing to duke it out. But yeah, maybe another one.
So 2 wins in 4 races. Did you expect to have this strong of a start?
Thought I would have a decent start, but yeah, maybe not quite the 2 wins. I knew I'd be good on the road course, and then I have a lot of laps here in this car, so capitalize on those opportunities, and then see what happens here after the update tomorrow on iRacing and whatever happens with this car.
Yeah, I think this bodes really well for your chances of going for 3 on the season. You and David both seem to be hitting your stride as it goes. In Las Vegas, I know it's not the same as Phoenix, but it's not terribly different. We head to Las Vegas next week. How do you feel about going for 3 in a row?
I feel pretty good. I got a lot of laps there too. We'll see how it is. I think they're doing something to that track in the update, so try and see if it's much different and get that figured out and see what happens.
Yeah, so Cody, we were joking that 2 victories going for 3 in a row. I think we need to find a sponsor for you, but you have the time now. Give a shout out to anybody you want to say hello to.
I just got I think I got a few coworkers that watch, and then my friends and family that watch from time to time. But yeah, it's fun to get to do this every week.
Well, we appreciate you supporting the Cooks Cup series here at Sim500. You're a 2-time winner in the 25 season, and I think we're going to be looking for you to bring down some more. Congratulations on the win, and we'll turn it over to our 2nd place finish here tonight. It'll be Kevin DeBrown. Oh, no, sorry, David Schildhouse.
And David Schildhouse in 2nd place on the night, was right there in the mix, was so close. Tell you what, you're having one heck of a season, man. I don't know how else to say that. Talk me through your race tonight.
Saw a lot of the back bumper of the 95 tonight, which isn't a bad thing. But yeah, I feel like we were really good. I think Cody might have been a little bit better. Dirty Air was definitely tough to overcome here. And we made a hell of a call on pit road. Shout out to Briar LaPrade, my crew chief, spotter, coach. He made the call there on that last pit stop to go with 2 tires, get us the clean track position, clean air, leading this thing, knowing they were probably going to wreck it up and have a lot of restarts. We just had to survive the restarts, and we did for most of them, but one we did not. And I'm just glad we were able to get back to 2nd. It was unfortunate. Tough race, hard to get going, a lot of cautions, man. I feel like that's been the story of the week from what I've heard from a lot of people here at Phoenix. They've not been very clean races, and I guess we lived up to the trend, which wasn't one we wanted to live up to because we've been pretty clean up to this point. But yeah, I mean, 2 wins, a 4th, and a 2nd. What can I be mad at?
Yeah, I don't think you can be mad at anything, man. I think it's been a great run on the season so far. Kind of looking forward here, of course, next week is going to be Viva Las Vegas. How lucky are we feeling for this season? Because you're having a pretty decent run so far.
I like Las Vegas. It's one of my favorite tracks to race on. In iRacing, I think it races really good. It's multi-groove for the most part. We'll see with these next-gen cars. It's a little different with the Xfinity car. But I think we'll go out there and keep her up front, let her eat the clean air as much as we can, and score more points, fight for a win. You know who the contenders are at this point. You're going to have to deal with the 95. Going to have to deal with the 51 and probably the 88 if he can stop getting wrecked. So there's some power players here, and hopefully they feel the same way about me. But one race at a time, man. It's a long season. 36 of these things. We're only 4 in. It's been a really good start, but it can get flipped on its head really fast as well, Brad. You just have to enjoy the good times while they're rolling and prepare for the bad times when they come your way, because if you can't get through the bad times, you don't deserve the good times.
You can say that again, David. I couldn't have said it better myself, man. Congrats on the 2nd place. literally on the bumper of Cody Harris there for a while. It was a good run. You led one restart I know of off the top of my head, and I'm excited to see you next week in Vegas. Let's see if you can roll the dice, get a little lucky.
Well, I got to keep Cody from winning 3 in a row. That was my position, a week ago. And if I could just stop getting wrecked in turn 1, I'd probably be okay. But no, I'm happy with the run so far. It's been a really strong start to the season. We just got to keep it rolling and keep these guys honest. Again, a big thank you to Briar LaPrade for keeping me on the rails tonight. Everybody at twitch.tv/Shieldhouse, they were losing their minds here tonight, Brad. Thought we had another win on the books, and just didn't quite work out, but the children were excited. Big thanks to Splash to Go Graphics for the beautiful paint scheme. And big thanks to Cook's Landscaping Group for supporting the series, for you guys at PTR TV for broadcasting it. I will look forward to watching back the replay tomorrow on my drive down for work. I think I'll probably have to start it on the drive down and then catch it on the drive back, because I think we were here for a little bit longer than usual tonight.
Yeah, it was fun though, so hopefully you'll enjoy it. Take it easy, man. Go enjoy. Say hello to the children for me, and we'll see you next week in Vegas.
10-4. Thank you, Brad. I appreciate it, boys. We'll see you next week.
See ya. All right, guys, and when it's all said, done, and dusted here, Andre, it's been one fun run. I gotta ask, week 13 coming up. What's your plans for week 13? What are you racing? What are you doing? I've kind of been spotting the new ARCA car myself.
Well, I'll tell you, the weather's been getting good where I'm at, so I'm probably going to break out the old Honda Odyssey 2-stroke, do some riding out in the woods, enjoy some time away from the sim. But when week 13 is over, we'll be excited to be back here in the booth.
It's going to be fun to see. Kevin, what's your plans for the next week here?
Yeah, I'm working on getting my honeybees ready for the season, and I'm just doing a little sim racing. I'm looking forward to running Las Vegas, and yeah, just a typical, the weather is finally broken, and there's so many things to do outside that it'll be nice to get out and get some sunshine.
And here for me personally, I do plan on getting some sunshine. I want to check out the new ARCA cars and getting things buttoned up for the remainder of March. We're almost halfway through the month, a third of the way through the month already. And big things coming up here for the next 2 to 3 months here at PTR TV. If you are interested, be sure to check out PrimetimeRacingTV.com. You can see our full schedule there. Of course, the streams for the rest of the month are on YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, ring the bells, do all the fun things you can do to support us here. It's completely free, helps us know that you're enjoying what we do, and helps us keep things moving and grooving and growing here. But that is going to be the end of this production here. On behalf of Andre, on behalf of Kevin, my name is Brad. We've taken you start to finish here on PTR TV. Be sure to join us in 7 days' time, where we see who feels lucky and we do this all again. Good night.